This is Secrets to Win Big, your roadmap to sustained growth. Brought to you by Arjun Sen, founder and CEO of Zen Mango, top brand growth driver, and a former Fortune 500 executive who has been called one of the most marketing intelligent minds in the business. Find him at zenmango.com. And now, here's your host, Arjun Sen.
Welcome to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen. Today, I have a very special guest. And the reason I say special is this is a person who has personally inspired me. And I'll get into that story later. My VIP guest today is Stacy Pederson. Stacy Pederson is a funny motivational keynote speaker. This next part is written by her because I would not describe her that way, but if she writes it, I will read it. After failing in every conceivable way, including life itself, literally, Stacy chose to reinvent herself. She is now a sought-after keynote motivational speaker who gives audiences fun, yet practical actions on how to overcome stress, handle change, and be more resilient, and live a life that matters. The part that I want to add is, many a time, we try to be funny, we get on stage, but there's a disconnect because that's not who we are. The Stacy you see is the real Stacy every day. Whether it is adversity or the happiest of days, it's one Stacy consistently. Stacy, welcome to Secrets to Win Big.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here, very much so.
Okay. We'll have this argument all through today, but the honor is mine. So, Stacy, I have a lot of questions I have been planning to ask for the last maybe 6 to 8 years. Okay. So first, let's bring it on. Okay?
Should I have gotten something stronger than just tea?
Hey, we can still fight. Let's go for it. Okay. Now, first, I really want to, congratulate you, not just on a career, but for motivating thousands of us, but more importantly, one person at a time. This last part, I really want to emphasize because most of us in this planet take. We think networking is more about taking. You give, and that one person at a time is very important. I also love the way you motivate us by making us laugh. You take a lot of shots at yourself. I want to go straight to, how did humor find you in everyday life? How do you find humor in everyday life?
Well, there isn't like a moment in particular. I did have a very eclectic upbringing, and I think that in part helped frame the way I see the world. My parents were hippies. I grew up very rural, no television, really no neighbors, nothing to do. So I only had my imagination, and the way that we did life was, kind of like in the 1860s where we grew our own food and that kind of stuff. And so I say that, I can grow tomatoes, I can cook potatoes, I can gut a fish. I am a real catch if in fact it was 1867. So when I came into the real world, really in my early 20s, it was so foreign to me. And a lot of things that people just accept in daily life, I was like, why is that normal? And for some reason, that disconnect and that outside view of looking in at our everyday life, just being able to question that a little bit, I think is part of where the humor came from. So I don't know. It was like a natural thing. It was the fact that I had to create things in my head all the time. And then I think just being on the outside, looking in and seeing the world differently.
I like that. No TV, only imagination. And I also like that question that you talked about, why is that normal? Okay. I want to move more into humor. And most of us I'm not talking about myself, but you know I'm talking about myself when I say that. We want to be funny, we try to be funny, but many a time we can't be. So to me, the whole thing is, how do we become Stacy-like consistent funny? And in that journey, what are some common challenges most of us face?
Well, I'm going to be controversial right from the get-go, and that I don't think everybody can be funny. It seems to be just like a skill, and I do think some of it can be learned, but the timing or just the way that you view the world seems to be something that comes naturally for some people, and for some people it doesn't. And I see a couple of things that go wrong with humor in trying to be funnier is that trying to be something you're not, like it's inauthentic. And people know that, and you know it. So I'll watch actually other speakers on this stage, and they'll have somebody write funny lines for them, but then when they go to deliver it, it's not authentic, and so it doesn't land. Um, and I think that if you don't recognize timing and some of those things, it could go wrong. I mean, we all have the story where we were at a party or a networking event and we made a joke thinking we were hilarious and it did not land. And to this day, like at 2 a.m., our head pops off the pillow when we remember what a horrible moment that was, of how awkward it was of not being relevant or having humor correctly in the moment. So I'm not sure that everybody should strive to be funny, but I do think people should relax and be more open to different ideas and the way that life is, and to find more joy in it.
Love that. But what I heard was something beyond just humor, and which is about authenticity. And the thing that you said, people know when they are being who they are. Like to me, I think that was such a big thing, is authenticity's true test comes from within. I'll give you a very goofy example. This is my daughter was growing up, like she was maybe 16, 17, 4 or 5 of the kids, she and her friends are in the house. I just cooked some food, and that I think allowed me a 2-second conversation. And in that, I used the word D-U-D-E, dude. My daughter looked at me and said, Dad, don't use it. Don't. Like you don't know how to say it, and your emotions, you just can't use it, Dad. You're trying too hard. Like I just right away even spell that word nowadays instead of using the word, because I realized I can't pull it off because my daughter was right. Okay? So I think that test of authenticity is very important. Okay? So now I'm going to take you to a different place. Okay, a lot of people can be funny. A lot of us can have messages that we connect and deliver, but doing both is an art. And that's where, Stacy, my true admiration of what you do is, you are not just funny. To me, you're funny with a purpose. So how do you connect humor to the message so it lasts in our heart?
I think that I think I'm going to go back to that authenticity part in blending the message. And how I do it, I do a lot of self-effacing humor, making fun of myself. And a lot of times we listen to like motivational speakers or leaders, and they're presenting, and it's wonderful and it sounds amazing, but we feel like we're not good enough or have the skills to be able to do what they're saying. So we all know we're supposed to exercise all the time and have a positive mindset and do all these things, but we know in real life we're not like that, that we struggle. We're not perfect. And so what I like to do is make fun of it. So like exercise, I know I'm supposed to exercise. I personally hate it. I do it, but it has not come easy to me. I don't love it. I don't look forward to it. I've tried all these mindset things. And so what I'm able to do is get on stage and relate to all the people in the audience who also know they're supposed to exercise, but also hate it. And so I'm kind of calling the elephant out of the room of what life is really like for many of us, rather than just giving this blanket perfection of everything you're supposed to be and do. It's not real. So to be able to point that out and laugh about it, and then give tips and techniques of how to overcome it, I think that's more valuable than just telling somebody what they're supposed to know and what they're supposed to be doing. We already know that. It's just that it's hard, and a lot of us don't even know how to start.
So if I hear you correctly, laughing at least helps me connect and helps me take the first step together, without which I would not even try. Because, and I'll give you an example, is a very respected, famous speaker from Colorado. When he first started talking about his journey of climbing Mount Everest, I was totally disconnected. Like, I'm not even going to start the journey to base camp. Okay? But what I loved that day was he used that to make us overcome and reach the Everests in our life. Okay? And I really think exactly what when you're talking about is weight loss, if you're talking about, or anything like that, for me, it could be 2 pounds. For somebody, it could be 50 pounds. Like, you breaking it down, making fun means that me and weight loss are not those Jerry Seinfeld, Newman kind of enemies looking at each other. We can relate. Love that.
Yes. Yeah. I want people to look at me and say, well, if she can do it, then there's hope for me. So I don't want to be like this fake perfect thing. I mean, I make fun of that, but that's kind of my thought and my motivation behind what I do, is that, again, if I can do it, anybody can. I can't climb Mount Everest though. I just
But with Photoshop, we can both do it.
Did I
So,
mention I hate death and exercise? No.
okay, so we'll do something else then. Okay. So what do you like most? What's most satisfying about what you do?
I really love giving people hope. I think that we're in a time where so many people are struggling and they're just not sure, like, if there's something wrong with them, if the world, like, people are just really, I don't know. It seems like ever since the pandemic, like people's minds and motivation and habits and really what they want out of life, the questions that they're asking, are significantly different in the way that we view the world now. And just the joy of being able, for anybody who's struggling, whether that's with a relationship or finances or work or their health, is just to come in and help them laugh and relax and let go, but then also have them walk away with hope, knowing that things will get better. That's the best feeling in the world for me.
Wow. So when you look back at all the moments of success, what does one moment that jump out that you would love to share with your fans, friends who are cheering for you?
Most of my memories of, just like in life, we're kind of wired negative, are all the times I failed and how I made myself get back up on stage or work through that after. And it was the process of failure that really helped me refine and hone not just who I am as a person, but also my technique on stage. And every audience is different, every room is different. I still get up there not knowing how things are going to go. And having the courage and the experience and the strength just from all that failure. is almost a safety blanket for me now. Like, I used to have terrible stage fright. I still do, but I can now go back and go, well, okay, there was that one time where you blank, or you did this, or that event was horrible, and you got through it. Like, it's just part of the process. And I do think that about life as well. I think we fear failure so much that we don't ever do what we were put on this earth to do. And I think the choices that we make, if we weren't afraid of failure, would be different. And we'd have such a higher quality of life. And we would be making such a better, bigger difference in this world if we looked at failure differently.
Build on that and ask you a follow-up question. What you shared
Sure.
is we all have.
What do I? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I wanted to build on, because you just shared that we all have much higher potential than what we achieve. Is the fear that either makes us play safe, we don't try. So when Stacy faces adversity, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, how do you jump back into the game?
Sure. Well, I totally naturally have a victim mentality where I'm like, what? Oh, it's so unfair. I don't want to do this. Or just a sense of fear or anxiety or whatever. And then I have to step back and go, okay, this is just life and this is just a moment. And you just kind of pull up your bootstraps and move forward. And if you need to take a break, take a break. But you just move forward one step at a time. And I have learned that through hardship, just in general, just like I mentioned failure, it does make us better people. So I know there's a good ending in the long run, and that if I'm struggling with like just getting through something, then it'll give me more empathy to other people who now have that, or that journey that they're working through. It gives me wisdom, it gives me more courage. And so with the bad comes the good.
And I like the vision of a good ending, because that always, I really think once you know that the pain is worth it, it makes us look at life differently. So now I'm going to put
Yes.
you on the spot and request you, what would be 3 to 4 words you would use to describe you? But before you start, there's a little trick. This is a game.
Okay.
I've asked a few people who know you, how would you describe Stacy? And I will share those words with you after you give me your 3 words.
Okay. um, I want to say terribly insecure, but I think when I look at my career, I would say what comes to my mind is I didn't quit.
Mhm.
Like, I just didn't quit, no matter how hard it was. I believed in what I was doing. It was whatever the struggle was in that moment, it was more important than my own personal comfort. And so that sense of purpose, just to keep me going, I didn't quit. And I wanted to a lot, but I didn't.
So are you ready to hear the 5
Yeah.
things?
Yes.
These are different people. You cannot ask me or even look at me, try to figure out who these people are. I cannot go there.
Okay.
The first one was laughs. Second, of course, is funny. They are somewhat similar. Third is real.
Oh.
Fourth is BFF, always. And the fifth is, I think, a little beyond what you talked about, did not quit, is jumps back in life with a smile, ready to help us. I really think this is very important because it has 3 different layers, which I feel define Stacy. Jumps back in life by itself is the non-quitter I would love to be. But jumping back with a smile, it's like that Monty Python. It's just a flesh wound, like no big deal. But the next second, trying to help others, I really feel that's an amazing compliment that you have earned and you deserve. Okay. Thoughts, reactions to this?
I feel shy. That's very kind, whoever said those things. I'm glad that they were all positive words. You obviously didn't talk to my ex.
Oh, he was on that's a different conversation. That's the second podcast. Secrets to what
I
over
don't
how
think
we
those are
all
the words he used.
no, these words were a little different. So now I want to take you through a very hypothetical conversation. At the end of this podcast, you open your email and you just see there's an invite. 18-year-old Stacy, 100-year-old Stacy, and Stacy today want to meet. You are in charge of arranging that meeting. So where will those three Stacys meet? And what would be one thing each of the Stacys will say, the 18-year-old Stacy today and the 100-year-old?
I would hold a meeting on top of a mountain. It was called Green Mountain growing up. So I grew up in the middle of the Cascade Mountain Range in Oregon. And when I was 5, my dad hiked us to the top because there's no trees on the top. And not because of it's so high. It wasn't that. It was just very rocky. And you could see you could see Mount St. Helens at the time, like a lot of the volcanoes on the one end with the snow, and you could see the ocean on the other. And I remember being so mesmerized, being able to see so far, and it was beautiful. And so when I got my driver's license, a lot of people went and partied or did whatever. Sometimes I would skip school literally, and I would go to the top of the mountain and I would write. And some of it was I just wanted to go out and see the world. Like, it was beautiful where I was and I loved my family, but I felt like there's more to life than just this. And I think being able to go to that spot and those moments of wanting and knowing that there was more out there, and the hardships, but all of the life experiences that I've been through, that it was worth it and that I'm grateful I went for it.
So what would Stacy, 60-year-old, say when she meets you there? First thing she says.
She would say, did you bring any snacks? No, I'm just kidding.
You get only one chance.
Just kind of what you shared in with just the pain was worth it. It's worth it in life.
How about the
To
100-year-old?
do good
What would
things.
she say? 100-year-old Stacy, what would she say?
Yeah, that's what the 100-year-old would say. I'm sorry. The
Anybody.
18-year-old or me? Wait, what? I'm all confused with the me, myself, and I. So yeah. You know what I would also say, like my age to my younger self, is that life is not going to go the way you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Harder, but better.
And I want to disagree a little bit with you there. One of the things I have realized that the biggest certainty of life is the uncertainty. But I've also stopped kidding myself that tomorrow will be better. Maybe not. But if I can be like you and not give up, even if life throws bigger curveballs, we will come out better. And I really feel that's one of the big ahas for me is I've stopped kidding myself. Otherwise, I was literally bribing Arjun, go to bed, Arjun, tomorrow will be better. It's not, Arjun, like what happened? I'm sorry, So I really feel that that's the part where I've tried to become very real in my promise to myself. But I like your confidence that whatever life brings, at the end of tomorrow, I will be at a better place because I deserve it. So Stacey, this is a conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't necessarily mean financially or relationship or health. I just mean my soul
Mhm.
will be better. Like I'll be a better person on the inside.
Absolutely. Stacy, this is a great conversation. Any final thoughts, any questions you have for me, anything?
Um, no, I don't think so. I mean, unless you have another question. I just appreciate you so much, and I just very happy to be here.
Absolutely. I want to finish by thanking you on behalf of every one of us at National Speakers Association, the Colorado chapter, and the bigger family, because how much you give to us and how much you inspire us. Okay? I personally feel that there are times seeing how you go through adversity, I was drowning myself a little bit on blending the right amount of empathy and sympathy and just going for a few empathy sympathy shots, and looked at by saying, really, if Stacy can go through that with a smile, and I want to quote is, jumps back with a smile and wants to help you, I can do it too. So thank you and really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You've been listening to Secrets to Win Big with Arjun Sen, founder and CEO of Zen Mango, top brand growth driver, and a former Fortune 500 executive who has been called one of the most marketing intelligent minds in the business. To learn more, visit www.zenmango.com. Share this podcast with your friends and subscribe wherever you like to listen to podcasts.